Hello, and welcome to the first of what I hope is to be many Divine Masculine check-ins. Today I'm going to do a check-in for masculines that are in third-party karmic situations, for primarily for Divine Feminines who are trying to kind of get some insight, keep an eye on things. Please keep in mind I'm only one person. I can only connect to and channel with so many different energies, and so if this reading doesn't resonate with you, please, check in with other readers who are also doing DM check-ins and see if they resonate with you. Okay, so first I'm going to start with this shamanic medicine deck, and we're going to get one card for the overall current energy of the Divine Masculine, and then we'll do one of the energy and their connection. Whoa. Jumped right out there. What do we got here? Staff foundations. So that's masculine's energy on his own right there. And what I'm really getting the sense of this, it's funny because it's really started to rain here, and in this card it is very clearly raining. This card, I mean, for obvious reasons, really feels very much like the Ace of Wands here. And what I'm really getting the connection of is that your masculine is... these masculines are learning about boundaries, and they're learning about communication. And it's likely that their communications are getting drenched by obligations, by victim mindsets from the shadowy figure in the back, kind of a hermit-like figure going on there. And it's really creating complications for them that they weren't expecting. They were really hoping that this situation that they jumped into would just be like the grass is greener on the other side situation. That's not what is going on. And I will look in the book in just a second, and we'll see exactly what that one has to say, but that's just what I'm getting off of that naturally. Alright, Spirit, thank you for one card about the current energies between the DM and Karmic. Thank you for one card. I'm kind of getting pulled to this one. Yeah. Great mystery. Trust. So, Spirit's behind the wheel in this. And it is likely with the foundations, struggling foundations of things going on, that there are some trust issues in there. And what Spirit is trying to get them both to do is to stop looking at each other as some sort of a validation source or an indication of wellness or status or success, and to just trust that Spirit knows what is best. And on the bottom, medicine mask, authenticity. So they're both learning some lessons surrounding authenticity, which suggests to me that there's probably some disingenuous energy going on there. What do you mean? In a karmic relationship? Disingenuous energy? Never, right? That could never happen. Alright, so let's get some cards and see what's going on here. Alright, thank you, Spirit, for showing us a little story here about what's going on with this Divine Masculine and its Karmic. Ooh, Page of Wands reversed, alright. A couple more cards, tell us a story here. Thank you. Telling us what's going on here with this Divine Masculine, or these Divine Masculines, and their Karmic. Ooh, we got one to sneak in there. What was it? Ooh, 4 of Wands reversed. That's a unstable home situation going on there. Oh, too many cards there. Thank you. This one wants to stick out. Wheel of Fortune, upright. like I was saying, Spirit's taking the wheel, creating shakeups. Shakeups to wake up. Thank you for 1 or 2 more cards for it. We got 1. Ooh, alright. On the underside of the deck there, we have the 9 of Cups, which it's a wish fulfillment card in upright. It's also a bit of hedonism, but being that it is an underlying it's an underlying card, which suggests that that's the call for the reading, but it's also the shadow card. So what what that tells me is that they both have wish fulfillment that is not each other. Let's see what's in the middle of the deck, too. The Knight of Swords, the fastest moving bugger in the deck, and it is likely that they're fighting. They're saying things before they really had time to think about it. And it is, whether they are conscious of it or not, I mean, like, this is very likely to be divine masculine wanting his divine feminine, but not, not speaking it, covering it up, drinking it away, numbing it out. And, that, true to having your partner reflect you, the karmic is likely doing the same thing. And, I mean, what this story tells me, too, is we've got some immature communication going on here. And the Four of Wands, although it is often a twin flames card, it is also a card of celebration and home, and often union and marriage in reverse. That's a union that is not coming together, that is an unhappy home. And it, with the Wheel of Fortune here, this is divine timing. This is spirit coming in and shaking things up and saying, yeah, you think that the grass is greener on the other side. Let me shake things up for you a little bit and see exactly what's going on here. Let's see if you can handle this. So you got that problem figured out. Let's see if you can handle that. And with the Seven of Cups in reverse, I'm definitely sensing a lot of drinking going on here. Either these masculines were already experiencing challenges with drinking and escapism, or they're going back to an old habit of it, and it's likely because they're overwhelmed with the things that are going on here. This immature communication, things are not going, the way. I've been getting the sense of a really messy home, and it's the divine masculines who they really need a clean space to be around. They need to have their own kind of, their home needs to be their sanctuary, and if they were being the king of their castle, they're being the king of wands, king of cups, the emperor energy, really, which is where they need to get to, which kind of what I'm getting the sense of is what the staff is about. They're learning to be that emperor energy, but they're not doing it. They're being poor communicators, and because of that, things are falling apart, and Spirit's saying, well, we're telling you what to do. We're telling you to trust, listen. You know what you want. You know what you want, masculines. This is Spirit saying, hey, you want your divine feminine. You didn't end up in this karmic third-party situation because this was supposed to be your wish fulfillment. You ended up in it so you could learn some lessons so that you could have your wish fulfillment, because there were things that were preventing you from getting that before, divine masculines. So I'm getting the sense that these masculines are, the ones in this reading are really trying very, very hard to ignore what is right in front of them. We got a little bit of time here. Let's get a little bit of clarity going on here. I'm giving let's do, I'm going to use my darker deck here. Thank you for some clarity on this Page of Wands, Spirit. What's going on with this Page of Wands? Alright, so we got Five of Wands, an impasse. And Three of Cups in reverse, grace. So they're kind of at a checkmate, stalemate here. In fact, what I'm getting a sense off of this is not only is it immature communication, but one or both of them is playing this silent treatment game with each other, and that does create an impasse, and it's a lack of grace, it's a lack of maturity, and so they're having trouble in their relationship. There's no joy in it at this moment in time. Thank you, Spirit, for some clarification on this Four of Wands in reverse. Ooh, that one wanted to come, two wanted to come right out. Ace of Swords, doom. That's some truth there. And the Ten of Cups, salvation. That's really interesting, too. So, I mean, typically, the Ten of Cups is a happy home, happy family thing going on. But with the Ace of Swords there, and I chose this particular deck because it has a lot more to do with shadows, we've got doom and salvation. And those things are, well, they're not going to come through immature communication. And it's likely that the Four of Wands is even in reverse, because some hurtful truths are being shared and some hurtful truths are being hidden. And they are preventing them from having a Ten of Cups with each other. Yeah, and I'm really going to say, if you look at the feminine in this one, you know, the masculine is very focused on the cups. He's focused on the cups. He's focused on the love. He wants the romance. He wants what's right there. He's even got his toe in a little river of blood there, you know. He's focused on those emotions. And the feminine in this picture is like, but look at that big castle we could have up there. If you'd stop worrying about how you're feeling right now, we could be up there in that castle and you could be buying me stuff and giving me stuff. Why are you focused on how you're feeling? Your feelings aren't all that important. Which, you know, it's a truth of how she feels. And that's, I mean, that masculine does not look like he's getting up anytime soon. He does not look like he's happy. He doesn't look like he wants to go up to that castle either. I wouldn't blame him either. Messy house, bad communication, those are both wands. Wands are primarily communication and sexuality. They're having a disconnect because of this immaturity. Thank you, Spirit, for some clarity on the Wheel of Fortune. Ooh, right over. Flipped right over. I'm just going to take the first two that came there. We had a bunch. Accomplishment, the Nine of Pentacles. This is a singlehood card. And, interestingly enough, the woman in that is pregnant. And you notice that elephant in the room? It could be that the Karmic in this particular situation either attempted to use her own children to play on the masculine's desire for having a family and to try to keep him connected, or she had either attempted to get pregnant to keep him hooked on, or did get pregnant and attempt to keep him on. But the stronger energy that I'm feeling in this, because it's connected with the Wheel of Fortune card, I'm really getting the connection, the image that's coming through is that Spirit is creating the conditions for them to get single from each other. And we've got the Six of Pentacles, Charity, on the bottom. That to me really reinforces. So some of the divine masculines in this one were drawn into this karmic third-party situation because of a victim plea, a damsel in distress. You know, I've got children, I need help, and I'm always being taken advantage of. Please, divine masculine, will you come and help me? And divine masculine said, how can I leave somebody who needs help so much behind? Maybe it'll make me feel better, because things weren't going well with me and my divine feminine. But now he's learning, he's seeing this was not exactly why they were in the situation that they were in, and Spirit is turning this over and pointing this out, the truths of this situation. And I'm getting the sense that now divine masculine is really feeling like he's the one who's being victimized, and that he's got family he's been neglecting, and that he's been giving away. He's been giving away the whole cow before they even tried the milk, and he's not getting anything in return for it. And I'm really getting the sense to be drawn to this little character in here. The divine masculine is really feeling kind of self-loathing right now. Alright, thank you, Spirit, for a couple cards of clarity on the Seven of Cups reversed. Thank you for 2 cards on the Seven of Cups reversed. What do we got? Nine of Cups reversed. Happiness reversed. Let's see what the second card's going to be. Thank you for 1 more card, Spirit. Thank you for 1 more card. Clarity. Thank you for 1 more card. The Seven of Cups reversed. Getting the Wheel of Fortune reversed. And no coincidences there that they lined up together like that. And on the bottom, the Hermit reversed. Disconnection from dreams and spirit, not looking for the illumination, feeling antisocial right now. And usually the Hermit does have a staff, so it's very fitting in here. Masculine's energy right now, with foundations and structure getting shaken up, getting thrown around. And, you know, the Seven of Cups in upright is usually kind of it's a manifesting card. And when it's in reverse, it kind of reminds me of analysis paralysis, which I'm getting a really strong tingle on that one. It's that this immature communication, the messy home, the things that were thought to be reality when the arrangement started are that the truth is being illuminated. That's not what's been happening. And now masculine's feeling a bit stuck and confused about what to do. And he's definitely not happy. The karmic is not happy either. I'm going to pull... Let's see, what do I want to pull here? You know what, I'm going to pull... I've got some cards here. I call them Divine Guidance cards. I'm going to pull some of these for what Spirit is trying to get masculine to learn right now. And then we're going to do a couple of cards for you, Divine Femmes, on what you can be working on right now that is for you, but can help with your connection, and some messages from your Divine Masculine. So thank you, Spirit, for showing us what it is that you are assisting the masculine in learning right now in his karmic third-party situation. Okay, I'm going to take this one. Oh, I guess we're going to have two here. The longer you go on refusing to speak your truth, the worse it will be when you eventually blow up. Speak it now, speak it kindly. That's kind of an obvious one, right? Whatever was said or done in the heat of the moment was needed. Trust in spirit and forgive yourself. You'll understand why with divine timing. Let's see if we can get two more here. Thank you, Spirit. What are you helping Divine Masculine learn in his third-party karmic situation? I'm going to take this one. Now is a great time to unleash your creative and artistic side. And I think we'll go with this one. Advice from Vulture. Discover what within and around you is no longer necessary. Give all that no longer serves you back to the universe to be recycled by creatures like me. I'm really getting the sense here that well, I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm getting the sense that Spirit is telling this Divine Masculine, you see what the situation is. It's not good for you. You're not happy in it. It's not really what you want. It's time to let it go. And I'm creating these situations that are ripe for you to get out of it, including some that you've blown up in. But I feel like this Divine Masculine has a guilt-shame cycle going on, and that when they do blow up and they get reactive, when those should be moments when boundaries are held, they instead give in, and they go into placation mode, attempting to relieve their guilt for being a jerk, when really there was a reason that they were brought to that situation. I mean, wands are also boundaries, and it is clear from these messages that boundaries are being violated. And so what Spirit's trying to help your Divine Masculine learn right now is how to uphold their boundaries, how to get out of that shame cycle, how to release what no longer serves them, and how to focus on the things that bring them joy just for them, you know? And depending on how stubborn and hard-headed your masculine is, it might be a little bit of time before they learn that. We'll see. Alright, so let's do... got my Alice in Wonderland deck. going to say, what's some advice for Divine Femmes watching this right now? We got the Four of Cups in reverse, which is kind of what I'm getting the sense of from that, and a good tingle, is don't be offended if your masculine pulls back communication, and don't be going like all no contact or withdrawing yourself if you get mad that they don't communicate to whatever level you want, or that you get the sense that they are not communicating, if they're omitting things or not communicating to the level that you would like. Remember that, Spirit's working on them. If they're pulling away and you're not getting the emotional connection, or if you're feeling left out and neglected, that is a sign from Spirit that you need to work on giving that to yourself. That doesn't mean allow any sort of toxic behavior, but you are the only one responsible for how you feel, and we reflect our partners. So if he's going through a situation where he's dealing with poor boundaries, immature communication, not really listening to Spirit, who is now shaking things up a whole bunch and is now stuck in analysis paralysis, well, guess what, Divine Feminine? You likely are too. Maybe not to the same degree, especially if you've been working on yourself. And if you're watching things like this, you're at least trying to work on things with yourself. So when you feel distressed by something going on in your connection with your Divine Masculine, don't take that as an issue with your self-worth or a reason to be upset or to cause more stuff going on, getting mad at them. Take it as a time for more personal pampering, self-love, self-care. Give yourself that which you really seek from your masculine, and I kid you not, ironically, you will absolutely get it right after that. When you don't need it from them anymore, they will give it. Next for you, we've got the Queen of Hats, which is the Queen of Cups in the regular tarot deck. Also the Queen of Hearts. And yeah, you know what? I'm really just getting that sense, Divine Femme. Now is a good time for working on you. Pamper yourself. And don't be afraid, I'm kind of getting this as a side message, don't be afraid to show off a little bit of your psychic telepathic connection with your masculine here and there. Especially if he's withdrawing. Like, don't overdo it. I'm going to say this very simply. If your Divine Masculine is not communicating with you, don't start over communicating. But, like, let's say it's been a day or two and they've not reached out to you or responded back to you. You could send a meme or a poem or something that is not... It's very mild in terms of emotional, but it can show that you have a sense of the connection. Well, no, that you have the connection and you have a sense of how they are feeling. And even if you don't, even if you have not been in full or even like pseudo union with them in the past enough to know them, you know them intuitively. And if you have been with them for a long time, you get, like, logically, you probably know them better than they know themselves. So it should be easy enough for you to understand what exactly is going on with them, even if you've clearly not experienced being a Divine Feminine waiting for a Divine Masculine who's in a third-party situation. But you likely know their story, you know their behaviors, you know them when they're in ego. This is why you're in separation. And either you called for it or they stormed off in a tantrum. Either way, Spirit created this situation so that they could learn their lessons, you could learn your lessons, and I can almost guarantee that the boundaries that they're learning to uphold, the immature communication issues that they got going on, if it's very likely that they were exhibiting those things to you if you guys were in pseudo union before, and even if they weren't, that they were in their psyche somewhere, and that they were not in yours. It is very likely that even though you might not have been in your Divine Feminine energy at the time, that you were not willing to have that kind of dynamic with them. There are some fights that, well, you know what, when we really love somebody, especially somebody who's not in a healed, enlightened, self-aware state, that they need to have certain fights. They need to have certain dramas play out. And as their divine partner, we don't want to have that sort of drama with them. We want to have a good relationship with them. We want to build with them. We want to grow with them. We want to feel happy with them. And if they've still got old wounds, old things going on that are preventing that, then they need to have somebody who'll create that super messy house and give them that immature communication, and basically are so unself-aware that they are instruments of spirit in and of themselves to create the sort of chaos and confusion necessary for masculine to heal, for masculine to be self-aware, to be self-possessed, and to say, and to go after his wish fulfillment. Thank you, Spirit, for 2 more cards for Divine Feminine advice here. Thank you for 2 more cards. Divine Feminine advice here while her masculine gets the fights he needs for healing. Let's see. We got the 2 of Swords reversed. Let's just go ahead and pull out the next one. What's 1 more card, please, Spirit? For Divine Femme. Oh, interesting. Empress and upright. And we got the 6 of Wands in reverse. Which in upright is usually recognition. You got your crown on straight. You're being boss, badass, queen, empress lady. And in reverse, I mean, you're probably feeling out of sorts. Which, like I said, you know, if you're feeling discombobulated by the connection with your masculine right now, that's a sign for you to work on giving yourself that comfort, that security, that, you know, getting yourself self-possessed, you know. And because in order to have a truly secure and healthy relationship with anybody, you can't expect the other person to be... We often have a subconscious desire to be rescued by our partners and to have them completely intuitively understand what we need, and without ever having to actually explain it. And so our part oftentimes as divine feminines, you know, we usually end up being the ones who are more self-aware about what's going on, hence why you're looking at readings and keeping track of things, because you have a greater sense, you're more open and connected to spirit and the messages coming through than divine masculine is. But that doesn't mean that you don't have lessons to work on and lessons to heal. And to be quite honest, if you want union to come in sooner, you have to be even more self-possessed. And this two of Swords in upright, to me, it often feels like, and especially for this reading, it feels like the idea of like going into your backyard, putting on a blindfold and grabbing a couple of pairs of swords and practicing martial arts, like going through and working with like scarecrows and different bags, and you're working on training and using your intuition, calming yourself, meditating, you know, learning to calm your breathing, lower your heart rate, and really just being able to move in the darkness as well as in, you know, the bright light of self-awareness. And it's also very much I mean, it's kind of an embrace the absurd card. And because this is in reverse, what I'm really getting the sense of right now is that for those of you watching this and reading this, that you've not really been connecting with your intuition. You've not been connecting with your 5D self so much. And you need union with your 5D self as much as your masculine needs union with his 5D self before you guys can have union in the 3D. And it's also likely, too, which, you know, happens when separation ends up going on even longer, that you're at kind of a crossroads of choices. You know, do I wait for him? Do I just sit in my single celibate energy? And I mean, for some of you, it could have been years already. It could have been months, you know, or I mean, shoot, even just a couple of weeks is long enough for, you know, any person to start going, is this something worth waiting for? You know, and you know, only you can really answer that question. If you're really feeling like, no, he's just horrible, he's horrible energy, and he's messing up, and he's doing fucked up things, and I don't want nothing to do with him, then stop waiting for him. Go do something else. take the approach of, if it's meant to be, it'll come back to you kind of thing, and go do your thing. Find you're happy without your divine masculine, you know, or assume that's not your divine masculine. If you do feel like it's your divine masculine, then there's two things that's important to remember. One, there's nothing that you can do to ruin the connection, other than not believing in it, really. I mean, that's the thing that's the only thing that can cause it. You can create more delays, especially if you're in a victim mindset, which this card can sometimes indicate. If you're feeling like you're being hurt by him not communicating with you so much, then look into anxious avoidant attachment styles. If you're feeling like he's not prioritizing you, or not putting you first, or not spending enough time with you, then look at how you can spend that time with yourself. And really think about too, you know, don't be dating somebody's potential. Consider how your masculine is right now. Right now. Even though you can see his inner being and you know he's a much more awesome and self-possessed person in a healed state, you have to assume, at least for right now, that however he is right now is potentially how he's going to stay. And if you really feel so connected to him that you want to be able to be with him now, and you feel impatient, which this card can also indicate, so can the Four of Cups in reverse, that you would want to be with him now, you would have to be able to take him in this energy and be happy with it, because otherwise it wouldn't go. And the only way to do that is to be able to fulfill yourself, which is what the Empress is able to do. You know, the Empress knows who her Emperor is. The Empress knows that her Emperor is not perfect. The Empress knows that the Empress is not perfect. But she also sits comfortably in her environment, and she knows that she is the mother of all things. She is the queen of all things. She is connected with spirit. She gives birth to new life. She is comfortable. She has her instrument near her. In this particular one, which is kind of a funny one, she's a sheep who is knitting, likely with her own wool. You know, she's self-possessed, she's comfortable, she's able to refocus. You know, when masculine pulls away, she doesn't freak out because she knows he'll be back. So your advice in terms of what's coming from these particular cards, Empress, Divine Feminine, is work on pampering yourself. Don't worry so much about what's going on with your Divine Masculine and or his Karmic. Trust in spirit. Work on you. Work on anything that you've been meaning to work on that's been held up by the separation. Work on healing any wounds that have caused you to over-focus on relationships, or be a people pleaser, or to not be this badass Empress that you are. Because then when union comes, when you get your wish fulfillment and he gets his wish fulfillment, which is you, you're both going to be ready for it. You're both going to cherish it. There's not going to be any more immature fighting, silent treatment, things like that, which I really get the sense you probably did have happen a fair amount with him and probably got tired of. That's why you to go learn your lessons, or spirit shook it up enough that you guys got separated because of that. And you don't want to bring that back into it, so make sure that you're releasing any sort of resentments, any sort of upsetness that you've been holding on to it, because when union comes, it'll be a new relationship. And your Divine Masculine will be a new person, because Spirit set them up with exactly the karmic that they needed to be set up with, to learn the lessons that they could not learn with you in order to be happy with you. Alright, we're going to use my Divine Guidance cards. I'm going to get 3 or 4 cards of advice for you, Feminine, and we'll do some messages from your Masculine after that, and then we'll call it good. Thank you, Spirit, for some messages of advice for Divine Feminine during this time and her separation from her Masculine. Oh, goodness. Bunch thrown around here. Okay, I'm going to take this one. Never allow yourself to settle for anyone who only changes last minute when you're ready to give up. It's pretty clear right there, you know. It can be tempting if your masculine comes in to say, hey, things have fallen apart and I learned my lesson. Can I come back? Be careful. If that's a pattern of his, you got to make sure that he has learned that. You don't want to be overly guarded. Your masculine has likely been put through the ringer in this karmic situation. And I'm not necessarily saying say no to them if they come back to you, but be cautious that they've actually learned the lesson and aren't just jumping back and forth because they're in an uncomfortable moment. Make sure that you are clear about your expectations. All right, and we got mountains are often merely just molehills we're looking at too closely. Step back a ways to see things more clearly. Answers will come. And that one for me is very much about think about if you're looking at a painting and you have your nose touching the painting versus if you stand back like 5 or 6 feet and look at the picture. It's a very different picture. When you're up close, it's blurry, it's confusing. You're seeing the grains, the little tiny portions of it, and you can only see one very small piece of the picture. Whereas if you stand back and you look at the wider picture, you can see the whole thing. You can see what's in the corners. You can see it, And what you should be focusing on, feminine, is not exactly what's going on right now between divine masculine and karmic, but or even between you and divine masculine. You should be focusing on what it will look like when you and divine masculine connect in healed ways. Think about that space. That's where you will find comfort for yourself, and you will help to release any resistances that are holding you back from your connection. And we got advice from Panther. You don't need to hunt for anything. Just find yourself a comfy place to hang out where you can watch and wait for what you want to come to you. I'm getting the sense we don't need to pull any more cards from that deck. And that one's pretty clear, right? It's very likely, Divine Feminine, that you're doing enough. And you're mostly just feeling antsy because you're not seeing 3D external confirmation of things happening. But trust me, Spirit is working on it. Spirit is working on it. You just get comfy, be your badass Empress self. Be the one who looks at things from an aerial view. Remember that you're in this for the long term. Whether you were with your masculine before this karmic third-party situation, or you met them while they're still entangled in it, regardless, you're in it for the long haul. A few weeks, a few months, even a few years is really nothing in comparison to a relationship that you can genuinely cherish for the rest of your life. All you got to do is step back and figure out what it is that you want to work on while you have this time. You could even look at it like, hey, if you're going to be in a relationship that's going to be forever and always, what are some things that you might like to do now that once you're in that forever and always situation, you don't have any regrets? You don't have any, oh, I wish I would have done that with myself, Plan it out. You want to go back to school for a couple years? Do it. You want to work on some business ventures? Do it. You want to go out and be a swinger for a while? Well, be careful. Watch for STIs and don't get pregnant, but do it. Have fun. If this is, if you believe that this is your divine masculine, then it is a spiritually protected connection. And you going and having some fun while your divine masculine learns some lessons, which will likely also help you learn some lessons, then do it. And don't fear that it'll ruin things. And even if it does create some sort of a delay or greater chaos, it's probably necessary. Alright, so I'm running low on the amount of time that I could do this video for, so let's pull some messages from your person, from your divine masculine. Alright, thank you, Spirit, for some messages for our divine femme from divine masculine. I'm going to take this one. We are a perfect custom fit for each other. We'll never find any others who will feel as good or as right as we do with each other. So your masculine is likely feeling like he knows that you are his person, you are his empress, and he knows that he is your emperor. Doesn't necessarily mean he's ready to admit it, but let's see what else he has to say to you. Remember that we reflect each other. You can help me heal by working on healing yourself. You heal, I heal. Which I was saying earlier with that two of Swords, right? You work on you. When you work on you, he works on him. When you heal, he heals. Thank you for some more messages from Divine Masculine. For Divine... Oh, there we go. Did we get one or two? We got two. Thank you for loving me. And I want to be more than just friends. So it likely suggests to me that you guys have been talking. Or that the suggestion has been that you guys could be friends, but things not working out before. Thank you for... Let's do two more. Thank you for two more messages from Divine Masculine. So this... Actually, you know what? That one did want to come. It says, I'm mad at you. So, maybe consider, is there a reason for your masculine to be mad at you? Doesn't necessarily mean that he's got a valid reason to be mad at you. Could be blaming you. But if there's something that you have done that, you know what, don't look at it whether or not he deserves it. If you've done something to upset somebody else, decide what kind of person you want to be. You want to be the kind of person that just lets that sit? Maybe ponder on it a little bit. One more message, please, from Divine Masculine to Divine Feminine right now. Oh, I'll take this one. My heart feels as cold as ice. Warm it up or leave me be. And on the bottom, I'm healing my issues with being a people pleaser via third-party karmic situation. Once I get up the courage, I'll come to you free and clear. So yeah, the feminines that are feeling resonant with this reading, I get the sense that your masculine, they've got some shit going on with their karmic situation. They're not feeling good about it. They're likely... Actually, I'm getting a sense that this I'm mad at you card actually isn't even to do with something you necessarily did in terms of like saying something mean or doing something mean. I'm getting a sense that they're mad at you because you probably told them how to avoid this situation and they ignored you. And you're right. And now they're upset about it. And they're feeling a bit icy about it. They really want to be more than friends. They know that you are waiting for them. And they're trying to figure out how to heal their people-pleasing energy. But they can't ask you for help. They don't want to. Their pride is holding them up. And you can't force it on them. So you be an empress. You work on you. Healing you. And then they will heal and they will do it. So don't mind the rest of it. I'm running out of time for right now, so please leave me any feedback below. If you enjoyed this reading or hated it or whatever, all feedback will be taken in. And thank you so much. I'll see you in the next reading.